Planning your trip to the 2026 World Cup in Los Angeles? Well, you're in the right place. In this guide, we're covering everything you need to know: where to stay, how to avoid the 2-hour hotel trap, navigating LA's 4 airports, transportation strategy, and all the practical details to make your trip incredible. I've done the research so you don't have to. So let's dive in and get you ready for Los Angeles. So you're heading to LA for the World Cup in 2026. How exciting is that? And here's what you need to know. SoFi Stadium is hosting the final, the biggest match of the entire tournament, plus 4 other matches throughout June and July. SoFi Stadium is one of the most technologically advanced stadiums in the world. It opened in 2020, cost $5 billion to build, and it's absolutely stunning. It holds over 70,000 people and can expand to over 100,000 people for major events like the World Cup final. The venue is in Inglewood, just south of LA. Oh, and I'm Scott. My sons and I love traveling to sporting events together. We're planning our own World Cup adventure in 2026. Building these guides is part of that journey. I want to make sure we all have an incredible time, and I'm excited to help you make 2026 unforgettable too. All right, let's get into the details and get you ready for this adventure. Now, before we talk about airports or anything else, we need to address what I'm calling the 2-hour hotel trap. And this could completely mess up your Los Angeles experience if you don't know about it. Here's the problem. Los Angeles is massive, and unlike cities that are dense and walkable, LA is sprawling all over the place. We're talking 500 square miles of urban area. Everything looks close on a map, but in reality, you're dealing with massive distances and some of the worst traffic in America. The trap works like this. You see a hotel in Santa Monica or Hollywood. It looks great. It's a beachfront property, iconic location. You've heard of all these neighborhoods. You book it thinking, perfect, I'm in LA, I'm close to everything. Then match day comes. You pull up Google Maps to get to SoFi Stadium and you see 20 to 30 miles away. In normal traffic, that's about 45 to 60 minutes. But on match day, when 70,000 plus people are all heading to Inglewood at the same time, you're looking at 90 minutes to 2 hours each way. You just turned your World Cup experience into 4 hours of sitting in LA traffic. Here's what you need to understand. SoFi Stadium is in Inglewood. Inglewood is in the South Bay area of LA. If you stay in Santa Monica, West Hollywood, downtown LA, or anywhere on the west side or in the Hollywood Hills, you're setting yourself up for brutal commutes. The key is understanding LA's geography before you book. We're going to fix this. I'll tell you exactly where to stay to avoid this trap, but I needed you to know this up front because this is the #1 mistake I see people making when planning LA trips. All right, let's talk about getting to LA. And here's where it gets interesting. Los Angeles has 4 airports, and which one you choose matters way more than you think. Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, is the big one. LAX is the main international airport, and it's the one most people think of when they think LA Airport. LAX is massive. It's the second busiest airport in the US after Atlanta. If you're flying internationally, there's a very good chance you'll land at LAX. LAX is on the coast, west of downtown LA, about 18 miles from downtown and only about 5 to 6 miles from SoFi Stadium. That proximity to the stadium is actually a huge advantage. The downside, LAX is undergoing massive construction right now. It's crowded, it's chaotic, and getting in and out can be a nightmare. Traffic around LAX is brutal pretty much all the time. If you're flying internationally or from a major US city, you'll probably land here. Just be prepared for the airport experience to be stressful. Hollywood Burbank Airport, BUR, are the letters for the airport. This is the small, convenient airport on the north side of LA. The location is, it's in Burbank, which is about 12 miles north of downtown LA, which means it's about 30 miles from SoFi Stadium. The airlines that fly here are mostly Southwest, JetBlue, Alaska, and some other domestic carriers. If you're connecting from within the U.S., Burbank might be a good option. The advantage is it's a tiny airport compared to LAX. It's super easy to navigate. It's quick to get in and out. If you're staying in Hollywood, West Hollywood, or downtown LA, and you're not too worried about the stadium commute, Burbank can be a great choice. Here's the disadvantage. It's got limited international connections and you're farther from the stadium than LAX. The next airport is Long Beach Airport, LGB. This is another small airport. This time it's south of LA. Long Beach is about 20 miles south of downtown LA and about 15 miles southeast of SoFi Stadium. The airlines that fly here are mostly Southwest, JetBlue, and a few other carriers. It's primarily domestic. The advantage is it's a smaller, easier airport than LAX, and it's actually pretty close to the stadium compared to most of LA. If you're staying near the stadium in the South Bay, Long Beach can be a smart choice. Here's the disadvantage. It's got limited flight options, and if you're staying anywhere north or west of the stadium, you're adding distance. The next airport, Ontario International Airport, ONT. This is the airport way out east, technically in the Inland Empire, not even really LA. Ontario is about 45 miles east of downtown LA and about 50 miles from SoFi Stadium. The airlines that fly here are Southwest, Alaska, and a few other carriers. It serves the eastern suburbs and Inland Empire. The advantage is that if you're on a tight budget and if you find a cheap flight to Ontario, it's there. The airport itself is easy to navigate. The disadvantage is you're really far from everything. Unless you're staying out in the eastern suburbs for some reason, don't fly into Ontario for a World Cup trip. The distance is just too much. My recommendation is this for your airport strategy. If you're flying internationally, you're landing at LAX. You just have to accept it and prepare for the chaos and book a hotel close to the stadium to take advantage of LAX's proximity. If you're connecting domestically and you want convenience, Burbank is great if you're staying on the west side or downtown. Long Beach is great if you're staying near the stadium. If you're trying to save money on flights, check all 4 airports. Sometimes you can save $200 to $300 by flying into Burbank or Long Beach instead of LAX. But be sure you factor in ground transportation costs. Here's the key. Don't just default to LAX because it's famous. Think about where you're staying and plan accordingly. Now, let's talk about the big question. How do you actually get around Los Angeles? The reality is that LA is built for cars. Public transit exists, but it's limited. You've got 3 main options: a rental car, Uber or Lyft, or public transit. Now let me break down the pros and cons of each. Here's the case for renting a car. LA is sprawling. Distances are huge, and while traffic is bad, having your own car gives you freedom and flexibility. Rental cars cost about $40 to $70 per day, depending on the time of year. So let's just say $60 a day for a 3-day trip. That's $180 for the rental. Parking at SoFi Stadium. This is the killer. Official parking at SoFi for big events is expensive. We're talking $75 to $150 for official stadium lots. There are sometimes cheaper lots within walking distance, but plan on paying $50 to $75 minimum. But here's what a car gives you. You can drive to the beach. You can explore different neighborhoods. You can go to restaurants whenever and wherever you want. You're not stuck waiting on Ubers. The total cost for 3 days with a rental car is about $400 to $550. That's the rental car plus the stadium parking plus gas. Now here's the case for Uber or Lyft only. If you don't want to deal with driving in LA traffic, Uber and Lyft are everywhere. The normal cost for an Uber from Santa Monica to SoFi is normally $25 to $35. From Hollywood to SoFi, maybe $30 to $45. And from downtown LA to SoFi, it's about $40 to $50. But here's the problem. Match day surge pricing, of course. When 70,000 people are all headed to the same place at the same time, prices can double or triple. A normal $35 ride could surge to $100 to $120 each way. Let's do the math. Uber to the stadium on match day with $100 surge is $100 surge. Uber back, $100 surge. A few other Ubers around LA for exploring, that's $150 over 3 days. Airport rides, $100. So the total for 3 days with using Uber only is about $550 to $650. Plus, you're stuck waiting for rides. After a big match, getting an Uber can take 30 to 60 minutes easily. Here's my recommendation. If you're staying near the stadium, South Bay, or the Inglewood area, skip the rental car and just Uber when you need to. The distances are manageable. But if you're staying on the west side in Hollywood or in downtown LA, you should rent a car. The flexibility is worth it, and you'll probably spend just as much on Uber surge pricing anyway. Now, what about public transportation? LA has a metro system, so it's trains and buses. And technically, there is a metro line that goes near SoFi Stadium. The Metro C line, which is the green line, has a station at Aviation/LAX, and from there you can take a shuttle or walk to SoFi. It is possible, but here's the reality. The Metro in LA isn't like New York or London. It's limited. It doesn't go everywhere, and on match day, it's going to be packed beyond belief. If you're on a super tight budget and you're comfortable navigating public transit in a new city, the Metro can work. But for most international travelers, I wouldn't recommend it as your primary transportation method. Now, let's talk about where to stay. This is where we address the 2-hour hotel trap directly. Remember, SoFi Stadium is in Inglewood, in the South Bay. Your hotel choice needs to factor in getting to the stadium on match day. Near the stadium, so we're talking South Bay and Inglewood, this is a smart choice if your priority is easy access to the match. The neighborhoods are Inglewood, which is right by the stadium, El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach. Here are the pros. You're about 5 to 15 minutes from SoFi. On match day, you can take a short Uber or even walk if you're really close. There's no stress about traffic. Here are the cons. You're not in the iconic parts of LA. There's no Hollywood sign, no Beverly Hills, no famous beaches like Santa Monica. The South Bay is more suburban, more local, less touristy. The hotel prices here are $120 to $250 per night, depending on how close you are to the beach. Here's my take. If the match is your priority and you don't care about being in the touristy parts of LA, stay here. Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach are actually really nice. They've got great restaurants, a beach town vibe, and a local vibe as well. Santa Monica and Venice Beach. Now, this is where a lot of tourists stay. It's the iconic LA beach experience. It's about 15 to 20 miles northwest of SoFi Stadium. Here are the pros. You're right on the beach. You've got Santa Monica Pier, the Venice Boardwalk, trendy restaurants, shopping, that classic LA beach vibe. Now, here are the cons. On match day, you're looking at 45 to 90 minutes to the stadium, depending on traffic. You'll spend a lot of time in the car or Uber. And Santa Monica hotels are expensive. The hotel prices range anywhere from $180 to $350 plus per night. Now, here's my take. Stay here if you're in LA for a week and the match is just one part of your trip. But if you're only in town for 2 to 3 days centered around the match, the commute will eat up way too much of your time. Let's talk about downtown Los Angeles. This is the urban core. It's got high rises, museums, restaurants, and nightlife. It's about 12 to 15 miles east of SoFi Stadium. Here are the pros. You're central to a lot of LA attractions. The arts district is cool, there's good food, and it feels like a real city compared to the sprawling suburbs. Here are the cons. The match day commute is about 30 to 60 minutes depending on traffic. And downtown LA isn't the safest area at night in all parts. You need to be smart about where you walk. The hotel prices here are $120 to $280 per night. Again, here's my take. Downtown is fine if you're renting a car and don't mind the drive to the stadium, but it's not my first choice for a World Cup focused trip. Hollywood, West Hollywood, this is a great area as well. So this is the famous LA neighborhood. You've got the Hollywood sign, you've got the Walk of Fame, you've got the nightlife. It's about 25 miles north of SoFi Stadium. The pros are you're in the heart of LA's entertainment district. So there's lots to do, there's great restaurants, there's tons of nightlife. The cons are that you're far from the stadium. Match day commute could be 60 to 90 minutes. And Hollywood is touristy. It's not as glamorous as people expect either. The hotel prices are about $150 to $300 per night. Here's my take. Only stay here if you're in LA for a week and you're spending most of your time exploring the city, not just focused on the match. If the World Cup match is your main reason for being in LA, stay in the South Bay near the stadium. Manhattan Beach or Hermosa Beach give you a great beach experience without the brutal stadium commute. If you're in LA for a longer trip, Stay in Santa Monica or Hollywood for the first few nights, then move to a hotel near the stadium for match day. This way you can split your trip. All right, let's talk about match day and getting to SoFi Stadium. SoFi Stadium, here's the address to SoFi Stadium, 1001 Stadium Drive, Inglewood, California, 90301. The capacity is 70,000 people, like I mentioned before, and it's expandable to 100,000 for the final. SoFi opened in 2020, and it's absolutely state-of-the-art. It costs $5 billion to build, that's with a B. It has a massive translucent roof, air conditioning, and every modern amenity you can imagine. For the 2026 World Cup, SoFi is hosting the final. It's the biggest match of the tournament, and it's hosting 4 other matches. If you're driving, plan to arrive at least 3 hours before kickoff. The traffic around Inglewood on match day is going to be insane. Parking in an official SoFi parking lot ranges from $75 to $150 depending on how close you are to the entrance. You can pre-purchase parking passes online, and I highly recommend doing this. There are also unofficial lots nearby that charge $40 to $75, but the walk might be longer and the security is less guaranteed. Here's my advice. Pay for official parking, arrive early, and accept that this is just part of the cost of attending the final. If you're taking Uber or Lyft, expect surge pricing. A ride that normally costs $15 to $20 from Manhattan Beach could surge to $60 to $80 on match day. Now here's the strategy. Have your driver drop you off about half a mile to a mile away from the stadium, and you can walk the rest of the way. This avoids the worst of the traffic gridlock right around the venue. After the match, walk away from the stadium, again maybe half a mile to a mile away, before requesting your Uber. You'll avoid the surge of everyone trying to get rides at the same time. Now let's talk about what to expect inside SoFi Stadium. The stadium experience, here's what you can expect. SoFi is jaw-dropping. The scale, the technology, the design, it's one of the best stadiums in the world. The air condition is a huge relief if you're there during a hot June or July day. The concourses are wide and well designed. There are plenty of food and drink options. So for food and drink, you've got standard stadium prices, about $12 to $18 for food, $12 to $16 for beer, but the quality is great food, and that extends to SoFi concessions. No, I'm saying that LA has great food, and you'll find that same thing in SoFi. Here's the bag policy. For the World Cup, expect strict security. Small, clear bags only. Probably 12 inches by 6 inches by 12 inches or smaller. And be sure to check the official FIFA and stadium guidelines before you go, but plan to travel light. Now here's what to bring. Tickets, your digital and screenshot as a backup. You'll need ID or passport, cash because some vendors don't take cards, a portable phone charger, sunscreen if you're tailgating outside before, a light jacket because SoFi is air conditioned and can be cool inside. And now after the match, don't just rush out. You know, SoFi is designed to handle huge crowds, but 70,000 plus people all leaving at once is still chaos. Hang back for 20 to 30 minutes, grab some food, take photos, soak it all in, and then head out when the initial surge has cleared. So let me give you some quick tips on getting around Los Angeles beyond just the stadium. If you rented a car, Google Maps and Waze are your best friends. Traffic in LA is unpredictable. A route that takes 20 minutes at 11 a.m. might take an hour at 5 p.m. Avoid rush hour if possible. In rush hour 7 to 10 a.m. and 4 to 7 p.m. These are the worst times. For parking, most hotels have free or cheap parking. Restaurants and shopping areas usually have parking lots, and beach parking can be expensive or hard to find, so be sure you plan ahead. If you're using Uber or Lyft, they work great in LA. They're everywhere. The typical cost, like we talked about before, across town, you're looking at $20 to $50 depending on distance, and the short rides within a neighborhood are about $10 to $20. Be sure you download both apps and check prices before booking because sometimes one is significantly cheaper. For public transportation, the Metro exists and it's cheap. A day pass is $3.50, but the system, like I said before, is limited. Now here are the useful lines. You've got the red/purple line. They connect downtown to Hollywood. The Expo line goes from downtown to Santa Monica. The C line, which is the green line, connects to LAX and gets you near SoFi. The reality check is that it's slow, it doesn't go everywhere, and most tourists find it frustrating. Use it if you're on a tight budget, but don't rely on it as your primary transportation. Now let's talk about the weather in June and July in LA. So here's what you can expect. LA in the summer is beautiful. It's sunny, it's warm, it's dry. Daytime temperatures are typically 70 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 21 to 29 degrees Celsius along the coast. And it can get hotter inland, up to 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 32 to 38 degrees Celsius. And this happens in places like downtown or the valley. The good news is that it's dry heat. There's no humidity like you'd get on the East Coast or in Texas. And there's basically no rain in the summer. Near the coast, so we're talking Santa Monica, Manhattan Beach, it's usually cooler, 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. And inland, so we're talking downtown or Hollywood, it can be 10 to 15 degrees warmer. So here's what you need to pack. Make sure you bring shorts, t-shirts, and sundresses. Make sure you have sunscreen because the LA sun is very strong. Make sure you have sunglasses and a hat, a light jacket for evening, and because it cools down near the coast. You'll want comfortable walking shoes as well. The weather is one of LA's biggest advantages. It's basically perfect in the summertime. Just make sure you stay hydrated and wear sunscreen. Now let's talk about food because LA is an incredible food city. Here's what to eat. Tacos. LA has some of the best Mexican food in the US. Tacos are everywhere and they're cheap, $1 to $3 per taco. Be sure to try street tacos, food trucks, or sit-down Mexican restaurants. Also, there's amazing Korean barbecue. LA has a huge Korean community. Korean barbecue is an experience. You grill meat at your table. You can expect to pay $25 to $40 per person. And then there's always the iconic In-N-Out Burger. This is the Californian iconic burger chain. If you've never had it, it's a rite of passage. It's cheap and delicious. There's also a diverse food scene in LA. LA has incredible Thai, Vietnamese, Japanese, Ethiopian, Armenian, you name it. The city is incredibly diverse and the food reflects that. Now here's where to eat. If you're staying near the stadium, so we're talking Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach, they have great restaurants. El Segundo has some solid options too. And if you're exploring, go to Koreatown for Korean food, go to the east side for tacos, and go to West LA for upscale dining. Here's about tipping. Standard US tipping, which is 15 to 20% at restaurants, $1 to $2 per drink at bars. LA culture is just classic and casual. So be sure to know that LA is casual. You don't need to dress up. It's got the beach vibe, it's laid back, everyone's in t-shirts and shorts most of the time. People are generally friendly, but they're busy. It's not as fast-paced as New York, but it's not slow either. And yes, everyone drives everywhere. It's just how LA works. Here's a few practical tips. Let's cover money and the practical stuff real quick. So in LA, the cost, it's pretty expensive, but it's manageable if you plan. The hotels during the tournament are $120 to $350 per night, depending on the location. Meals, fast food is about $10 to $15. A casual sit down will cost you $20 to $40 per person. A nice dinner will be about $50 to $100 per person. For Uber rides, like we talked about, that's going to be $15 to $50 depending on the distance, more with surge pricing. So for a realistic daily budget, it's going to be about $100 to $200 per person for moderate spending. So we're talking about food, transportation, and activities. And you can do it cheaper if you're careful, or you can easily spend $300 or more per day if you're going upscale. Credit cards and cash. Now, for the credit cards work almost everywhere, but be sure to carry some cash for tips, food trucks, and small purchases. But you can get by mostly on cards. ATMs are everywhere. Your bank will probably charge a foreign transaction fee, but it's usually the best exchange rate. So the emergency number in LA is 911, and it works just like it works throughout the US for police, fire, or medical emergencies. LA has excellent hospitals and medical care. If you need a doctor, ask your hotel for a recommendation. Now let's talk about what to do in LA beyond the match. You've got the beaches, so you've got Santa Monica, you've got Venice Beach, you've got Manhattan Beach, you've got Hermosa Beach, you've got tons of options. The beaches are free and beautiful. In Hollywood, be sure to see the Hollywood sign. Hike to it or view it from Griffith Observatory. You also can walk the Walk of Fame, check out the Chinese Theater, all sorts of things. It's touristy, but it's fun. So for museums, you've got Getty Center. It's free and it's got amazing art and views. You've got the LA County Museum of Art. You've got the Natural History Museum as well. Now, there's also Griffith Observatory, which is free. It's got great views of LA and the Hollywood sign. Make sure you go at sunset for sure. And then for theme parks, now, if you have time, there's Disneyland. That's about 45 minutes south in Anaheim. You've got Universal Studios Hollywood, which is in the Valley. And then there's Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive so that you can walk around, window shop, see how the other half lives. It's free to look for sure. All right. So that's everything you need to plan an incredible trip to Los Angeles for the 2026 World Cup. Now, if this guide helped you, be sure to hit subscribe because I'm planning on releasing more LA content, including deep dives on SoFi Stadium, the South Bay neighborhoods, and everything else you need to know. And drop a comment. What LA topics do you want next? We could talk, you could say anything from best restaurants near the stadium, beach recommendations, day trip ideas, just let me know. And for that stadium guide, be sure to check and make sure you select your language because it's available in 9 different languages. All right, so safe travels and I'll see you at the final in LA.